y'all. So today we're going to go over graphing linear inequalities. I suggest pausing this video right now and then grabbing your spiral notebook so that you can take down some notes. Remember, if you don't have your spiral notebook just yet, there's some paper on that back table, okay? So to graph linear inequalities, it's basically the same thing that we were doing last week. It's just the way your line looks might change a little bit, and we're going to do some shading. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is we have to be sure it's in the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, just like we've been doing, right? So solve for y first, and then you can graph it. But sometimes we're going to have a dashed or dotted line, and sometimes we'll have a solid line. And how you can tell is by the inequality symbol. So if it's dashed, it means it was either the less than or the greater than symbol. And if it's solid, then it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. In other words, if you have that little equal to line underneath the inequality, you're going to have a solid line. So that's how I always remember it. If you have a line, you have a solid line, okay? If you don't have the line, then you don't really have a line. It's just a bunch of dots or little dashes, okay? So no line, no line. If you have a line, you have a line, okay? That's an easy way to remember it. Also, the shading, if you shade above, if you shade below, it's a less than or equal to. And then if you shade above, it's greater than or equal to. And that one seems pretty obvious too. Below, less than, less than is below. And then above is greater than. And then you can also remember it because we're talking about the y-axis. So it's like y is less than. So if you look at the numbers on the y-axis, you want to shade the less than, the smaller y values. Okay, maybe that might make a little bit more sense when I do some examples in a second. Last thing, and this is really important and students often forget it, and I guarantee you on our unit test, which isn't for a while, but on our unit test there's going to be a problem where you're going to have to do this last little piece, and it's when you're solving for y, you have to remember to flip the inequality symbol when you multiply or divide by a negative. Alright, so that's super important. As you're solving for y, if you have to multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip your inequality symbol around, which is going to change the way that it looks when you graph it. Okay, and we'll do an example so you know what I'm talking about. Alright, so be sure you have these notes written down. These are super important. You're going to want to keep these with you as we graph linear inequalities for the next few days. Okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, so this is not the same paper that you have. See, mine says C2, y'all says C1. Okay, you don't really have to worry about this stuff up here. That I don't care so much about. It's just part of like the little activity. I just care that you can graph four systems of inequalities. So this is like 4 different coordinate grids, okay, for our 4 different problems, because you don't want to like have 8 shaded inequalities all over your coordinate plane, okay? So when we do this first one, I'm going to stick to this first quadrant, all right? So let me zoom in, so we're just looking right here, okay? All right, so let's look at this first inequality. I got y is less than x plus 8. So I'm going to go ahead and graph it because it's already in slope-intercept form. My b is 8 and my m is here in front of the x. I don't see anything, so I know it's 1. In fact, it's 1 over 1 because any whole number you can put over 1. So let's graph it. I'm going to start by just plotting some points just like y'all did last week. So my b is 8. I go on my y-axis to 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up there. totally lost my place. Here we go. Got it. And then my slope is 1 over 1. So it's a positive, so I can go up 1 and right 1. I can also go down 1, left 1, doing that double negative. Either way, it's still going to make a positive slope. Okay, so there we go. Now I need to decide, looking back at my notes, do I do a dotted or dashed line, or do I need to do a solid line? So I look at my inequality symbol. It does not have a line underneath it. It doesn't have the equal to symbol. So that means I do not draw a line. So I'm going to leave it just as these dots right here, these points. Okay, and now my shading, this says y is less than, so I want to shade the lesser y's, which is down here. So I'm shading below the line. So what I'm going to do is shade very lightly all the way over there. Okay, so I'm shading below the line, and you just shade all of it, but don't be too dark on it because that's not our final answer. Okay, our other ones, I'm going to change colors. You want to use 2 different colored pencils on each of your different, each problem that you're doing, each system. And when I look at this second inequality, y is not by itself. I have this divide by 3, this over 3 part, so I need to get rid of that. Since it's being divided by 3, I'll do the opposite and multiply by 3. And when I do it on this side, I have to multiply everything by 3. So I put it in parentheses just to show it's everything on the right side. Okay, now I'm multiplying by a number, so do I need to flip my inequality symbol? Well, no, because I'm multiplying by a positive 3. It's only when you're multiplying by a negative 3, or a negative number. Alright, let me go ahead and distribute that 3. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. There we go. So let me graph it. My b is negative 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, down here. Okay. And then my slope is 3, or 3 over 1, and it's positive, so up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3, right 1, 1, 2, 3, right 1. I'm just going to keep going until I run out of space. Okay, cool. Should I draw a solid line or leave it as dots? Let's see. My inequality symbol is y is greater than or equal to. It has the equal to line, so I will draw my line. Here we go. And then it says y is greater than, so I want to shade the greater y. So if I just pay attention to the y-axis, I'd be shading these all the way up here forever. So I'm going to do kind of this light shading. Everything above my purple line. All right. So the solution to this system of inequalities is actually where both shading is happening. So the area where it's blue and purple, that's the solution. So this is the part that I want to make dark. Okay, so let me, I will do it in, I don't know, let's do gray. Alright, so I'm going to shade in the area that was purple and blue. That is where my solution set is. So on a test later on, if you're asked to find a possible solution, you would choose any point inside of this shaded area. Okay, like for example, the origin. That would be a solution to the system of inequalities because it's in the double shaded area. All right, let's look at another one. Let's do this one down here. So if you're feeling good and you don't need any more examples, feel free to turn the video off, work on your paper. All right, if you need more examples, then stick around. All right, this one, I see y is not by itself. It has a 4 in front. That means it's 4 times y. So to get rid of it, I'll do the opposite and divide by 4 everywhere. So I'm going to write it up here. Y is greater than or equal to, I don't need to change my symbol because I'm dividing by a positive 4, not a negative 4. 2 divided by 4. I can't do 2 divided by 4, but I can simplify that fraction to 1 over 2. To simplify it, I just did 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So both numbers were able to be divided by 2, and that's what I did. You can actually leave it as 2 over 4. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not the most simplified form, but that's okay. You can leave it if you need to. And then 4 divided by 4 is 1, so plus 1. All right, let me graph it. Y-intercept is 1. My slope is 1 over 2, so up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. I could also go the opposite way, down 1, left. So left 2, so that is a double negative, which still makes it a positive slope. All right, I see underneath my symbol it has this line, this equal to line, so I'm going to draw a solid line. There we go. That says y is greater than. Greater means above, so I'm going to shade lightly everything that is above the line. All right, let's see. My second one, I will need to also divide by negative 2 to get y by itself. Now look, I'm dividing by a negative. So I need to be very careful and flip my inequality symbol around. And let's see, that would be 3 over negative 2 or negative 3 over 2. It doesn't matter where you put the negative, just as long as it's there. So put the negative with the 3, put it with the 2, put it in front of the entire fraction. It doesn't matter. Just be sure it's negative. And then positive 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. All right, so the key point to take away there was I flipped my inequality symbol around because I was dividing by negative 2. Okay. Let's graph it. My y-intercept is negative 1. My slope is negative 3 halves, negative 3 over 2. So I could say let's go down 3 and then to the right 2. That makes a negative slope. Or I could go up 1, 2, 3 and left 1, 2. Either way, it makes a negative slope. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Going down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. There we go. Should I draw a solid line? Let me see. Okay, yeah, it's y is greater than or equal to, so that equal to line means draw the line. Okay, and y is greater than, so I want to shade above. So that would be here, and I just lightly do it all above the orange. And then my final answer, my solution set, is where it's both orange and pink. So I'm going to shade in where it's orange and pink. I want to make that part extra dark so that I am showing everybody else that this is the solution set. There we go. So any point in that gray area would be a solution to this system of inequalities. Okay, I'm going to do one more, but again, if you feel comfortable, then you are free to turn off this video and get to work. Let's do this one. Okay, so looking at my top one, I would need to add x to the other side. So that would be 5y is less than, and then just rewriting x plus 45. Because you can't combine them together. I'm also going to have to divide by 5, and be sure you divide everywhere. So y is less than, and I don't need to flip my symbol because I'm dividing by a positive 5. Oh, and that could be a 1x divided by 5, so it would be like 1 over 5x. 45 divided by 5 is 9. All right, let's graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, slope of 1 over 5, and it's positive. So I could go up 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or down 1, left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like the double negative. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. A line. Let's see. My symbol is less than, but not equal to. So I don't draw the line. But those points are pretty far like spread out. So I'm just gonna put a few dashes in between, so I can see like where the boundary line is. Okay, and then it's y is less than, so I want to shade below. So lightly shading below, just so I know all the blue is underneath the line. Okay, and then our other one, let's see. I would need to move the 5. That's on the wrong side. Negative y is less than, and then it would be like x plus 5. But you can't leave a negative y. You can make it a negative 1 and then divide everything by negative 1. And I'm dividing by a negative, so I have to remember I need to flip my inequality symbol around. Right, oh, let me put a 1 in front of x. So 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1x. 5 divided by negative 1 is negative 5. Okay, so my y-intercept is negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my slope is negative 1 or negative 1 over 1. So if the top is negative, then it's down 1 and then to the right 1 to make that positive. Or if I go up 1, then I'd have to go left 1. So it's making a negative slope. It's going down from left to right. All right, and let's see, do I draw a line? It says y is greater than but not equal to, so no line. So let me just make these points a little bit bigger. So no line on this one, and then do I shade above or below? Y is greater than, so I need to shade above. So it would be like this, and again I do it kind of lightly, and then let me darken my solution set. So anywhere where I see green and blue gets shaded. So it'll be all the way up to there, all of those. It's a lot. It's a big area. There we go. So any point in this gray area would be a solution to the system of inequalities. All right, that is our last example. So you should be able to work on the worksheet that's in front of you right now. If you have questions, I hope to be back soon. But for now, please ask your group mates if you have any questions, okay? Y'all have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.